Welcome to Lags, Libation, and Lost Saves. I'm your host, Greg Washington, Daddy Porter. We got a great stream show for you tonight. We're going to talk about Nintendo Direct. We're going to talk about old school gaming versus the new gaming. We got a roundtable full of really good discussions, especially about Blizzard and Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. So before that, we're going to get into some news. What's up, Steve?
What's going on, Greg?
Our libations, and lost saves news guy.
You got it.
How are you doing, buddy? What's going on? What's the latest?
All right, let's get into this. Do. All right. Well, John Madden. We all know what happened. So back in December, John Madden did pass away, and it's still feeling fresh in our minds and our hearts. But a great deal of gratitude needs to be given to this man for really shaping the industry and the standard of sports game. Which lasted for decades, Back in 1988, the first John Madden football game was released under the supervision of Madden himself, with Electronic Arts at the developing helm. Over 3 years of Madden football games, the series has actually sold over 250 million copies. That's a lot of game.
Yeah. Game on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big thing where, like any football games at the time, Madden changed it, because any football games really only had like 7v7. But when EA Sports came to get Madden and sign off on it, he's like, he needs authenticity. So he really pursued like legitimate representation, and throughout, like, really trying to push and strive to like that next level, that helped an entire generation learn the game of football and really learn to love the game. You didn't have to like sports to like sports games. Even the cooler thing, he provided some of his own playbooks to really kind of base off and kind of develop like the back end to really give you like the, again, not to use the same word, authenticity, between like the preparation for games, formation, strategy. I myself, being one of those young kids at the time, I have a true appreciation for the Madden series, for Madden himself, and the lengths he went to give us a full football experience when it came to games. So, hey, Mr. Madden, thank you for all that you've done for us, and tip of the hat.
Cheers. Cheers to him. Absolutely. Especially on Super Bowl week. Obviously he was huge in the football realm, but really more here. Just I'm just in awe of looking back at the changes that he made and just the effect that he's going to have even going forward. Madden is, as we were talking about before, it's a it's a monopoly at this point. There's no other football game, and there almost shouldn't really be, actually, because it's so damn good. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be super surprised to see someone try to take down this juggernaut.
Good luck.
Yeah, seriously, that's a hell of an undertaking for that one right there. All right, next, which pretty damn awesome, that just came up. Excuse me. We got Rockstar Games announcing Grand Theft Auto 6. It's been 9 years since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5, and GTA. Rockstar finally actually officially announced that GTA 6 is under development. Reports have been made for like a couple years. I know. Yes, it's about damn time. I mean, how long could they really like keep going with? Well, I mean, that's like a redundant question. It's, GTA 5 Online. That's just like you just hear $ every time you say the name. But yeah, Rockstar's been pretty quiet about a number 6 for quite a little bit until now. The interesting thing is going to be this is the first modern GTA game developed by Rockstar since the departure of their co-founder Dan Houser, who left back in February of 2020. But his brother Sam, who they got into it together, he's still staying behind. Another name that's going to be missing from the development roster is going to be Laszlo Jones, who actually left in April of 2020, same year. So it kind of went along. He had to take a bit of a step back to, take care of family issues, which, hey, totally get it. But I mean, Laszlo's like the voice on the radio, all the characters, and you could kind of hope he's going to make like another appearance there. Now, along with that, there is going to be speculation as to like what kind of game is this going to be. There are rumors floating around that GTA is going to be like a bit smaller than GTA 6 going to be smaller than 5, with some possible stuff coming down the pipeline, seeing where it goes. I know there's even talk of maybe like revisiting like the Miami Vice theme of like Vice City, which I wouldn't mind. It's little Tony Versetti running around Miami on a freaking dirt bike, taking the dodo.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely going to have to keep a close eye to see where this is going to go for the next level of Grand Theft Auto. But I'm pretty sure one thing's certain: we're going to see a lot of dollar signs for for Rockstar coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly too, Rockstar usually is in like they're usually almost like halfway done the game sometimes when they tell us that they're like in, they never acknowledge it until like they're almost done. So I'm hoping that this means in a few years. But then you also have, Steve, the contrast of GTA Online. Now, is GTA Online going to stick around? Is that going to be a whole new world with the new one? I mean, there's so many questions, and they didn't answer. They just put out a damn press release and said, y'all need to like this, and we did. So, like,
of course.
You know what I mean? Right, exactly. So,
damn.
And y'all know, man, I started this stream almost for this game. It's my favorite game by far. It's not even close. I haven't played it in months. Yeah, it's just great, man. It's just a great game. So I'm really looking forward to any kind of news that they just like. I mean, anything that they throw out there, it's just red meat for this line.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'll be right there ready to feast with you, my friend.
Amen. What's up next?
All right, next, as we're starting to get into a crazy year of buyouts and everything. First one up is Activision Blizzard being purchased by Microsoft. I mean, this is just a juggernaut announcement. So this was announced back in January that it has plans to acquire Activision Blizzard, and the transaction's valued at $68.7 billion with a B, $billion. It's a stupid amount of money. I mean, granted, you understand like all the, the titles that, Activision Blizzard that has like between the two of them, just in that in itself. But when this transaction closes, Microsoft is going to become the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, which is behind mobile game company Tencent, which also has their hands in a lot of pots. But the majority of their stuff is pretty much like the mobile games you find on their phone. And behind Sony. Sony's still number 2, or at least between 1 and 2, but it's pretty damn close. So they're really going to catapult themselves like right up there when it really comes in. So along with that stuff, they have to, kind of put out there that there is still plans to keep Bobby Kotick on as CEO, and they're going to continue to push development and really focus to strengthen the company's culture. They said in an announcement, which, that's just a whole thing in itself. So we don't need to go down that line because we got some more
here
stuff.
All night.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be here all night.
I know, right? There is one obstacle that stands in their way, though. There is an upcoming investigation by the Federal Trade Commission for anything that's like on a scale of this size. There's always going to be, federal regulations that go into it that they start looking into. But Microsoft CTO Satya Madela states he doesn't believe that the acquisition is going to be blocked. But at the same time, only time's going to tell. I mean, that's what it really comes down to.
This is the truth, and we will be hitting this topic up pretty hard in the roundtable, which is right after this. So, unless you have more, Steve, we can move on to the next one.
Nope, I'll save that for the rest of the guys. So yeah,
and I'm sorry,
no,
we're not.
go for it.
This isn't the last time that we'll talk about it in the news too, because I'm sure it's going to be, all over the place all the time. So.
Yeah, this is definitely story and development. I mean,
right.
The deal hasn't actually even happened yet, so this is just like a little sneak preview into what we're going to need to keep an eye on coming down the pipeline.
Right, and Zach here he drops an opinion that a lot of people have, which is Microsoft buying everyone is bad for everyone, bad for games, bad for companies, and it's bad for gamers. So we'll see, Zach. But I wanted that to show because I feel I've seen that a lot of that kind of pushback online.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some strong opinions. You have some people that are kind of geared more towards like, oh, here's this big corporation with a lot of money that's going to start putting, a lot of dollars into these companies. But at the same time, the future is uncertain. Are we actually going to see, the money being put in development? Are we going to start kind of like whittling down and starting to feel like it's the companies and the games that they're acquiring, is it going to be watered down? Is it going to be like significantly different than what we know, especially when you're dealing with two companies like Activision Blizzard, which is pretty much in the same now, but still different titles. But again, I'm going to save that one for the rest of the guys.
Yup, cheers to that.
Yep. All right. Oh, does that mean I get to have another sip? There we go.
Yeah, hell yeah, it does.
Got to keep the vocal cords going there.
Well, we got to do the libations part of Libations and Lost Saves.
Of course, it's in the title. It's not like we did that on purpose or anything.
And y'all were warned. So
yeah, we told you. We told you, but thank you.
Right.
All right. As we're talking about acquisitions, next, Sony buys Bungie. I mean, this actually, I don't think really a whole lot of people saw unless you were really keeping your finger on the pulse. But when I saw that, it was like, what? So actually last week, Sony did announce that they plan to buy out game developer Bungie for $3.6 billion. So not quite as much as Microsoft, but still at the same time, that's billions of dollars. Sorry, unprofessional, but libations.
No
what
worries.
Are you gonna do?
No worries.
Sony did state that Bungie will be an independent subsidiary of Sony Interactive Entertainment, and they will remain a multi-platform studio, which I know a lot of people were worried about initially when they heard about Sony acquiring Bungie, because it's like the original developer of Halo, along with other games. So Sony coming in, who was a direct competitor of Halo back in the heyday, we're not really sure where that's going to go. But Sony is also giving Bungie their own option, an option to self-publish their own games if they like to. But at the same time, we'll have to see what this holds in store for when it comes to PlayStation exclusive titles by Bungie, possibly. Sony seemed to kind of like cut the notion off at the past, rather, and that just kind of leaves the rest of us waiting in the wings to see what comes from the acquisition. And if there is some exclusive content, what kind of, IP are they going to have between the companies to really kind of set this thing off? Because, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I have a feeling there's going to be maybe just one or two in there. But again, I'm not here for that. Along with it, they did commit where they're saying to keeping it multi-platform. People were a little worried about Destiny 2. So they actually even did come out with a whole statement on this just by itself, saying, we're still keeping it multi-platform. They're still being self-published, and then it's the same game anywhere. So to kind of take that away from, kind of scaring people off, it's a smart move. because talk is going to get around town. So, at least get that out there before things start to get a little crazy.
Mhm.
All right. As we
No
move
comment on
in,
that one. No comment.
no, yeah,
Keep it
that's all
moving.
right. Again, we'll be revisiting that one down the line.
Yeah, that
I
too.
am
That too.
certain of that.
Yeah. Yep.
So much anticipated. The launch of Steam Deck is right around the corner. So it was announced that Steam Deck devices are going to start shipping on February 28th, and the first round of order reservation emails are going to be sent out on February 25th. Now, Steam Deck was supposed to had an initial launch of January. As with everything, gets pushed back a little bit, but by a month, that doesn't really seem to be too bad. So with the Steam Deck, if you haven't heard, this is going to allow you to play a large number of games found on the Steam library, pretty much wherever you'd like, with like the portability of a Switch. Also with the option to dock the system. So you can still do mouse keyboard on a larger TV, large monitor, whatever it may be. The system itself, though, there is a little bit of worry just for the fact of the actual size, because it's about 15 to 20% larger than the Switch, and
Ooh.
it's almost double the weight. Like
Ooh.
the Switch comes in to right around 14 ounces, and the Steam Deck is going to be just shy of 24 ounces, which doesn't seem like a lot. But if you're holding a little console, yeah, exactly. Especially
Yeah.
if you're playing a game, who is just going to hold it for a couple minutes? It's going to be going for a little bit.
Right.
Um, but with that right around the corner in the next month, we're pretty much just going to have to wait and see what's going to be coming up when it comes to like the games. But I know there's quite a little bit of reaction, and people are excited, and I'm really curious to see
Yeah.
what happens too.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Looks like almost the size of the Sony PSP, almost. Or
it looks similar to a PSP. It almost looks like a weird hybrid child when I first saw it, between like a Switch, a PSP, and a Game Gear. If you can think back to that one,
yeah.
it kind of just
Okay.
kind of blocky looking a little bit.
All right.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe we don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Right.
But yeah, there definitely is some excitement to be thrown around, and some anticipation. So we're just going to have to wait and see what pops out. Now, something that is already coming out is worries where certain games aren't going to be available. I know a big one, not necessarily in my ring, but like Fortnite, where one, they found that Linux is incredibly hard to do, not to mention when it comes to a lot of these first person shooter games or major games like that, anti-hacking, which Valve, Steam is very uh on top of, to try to mitigate like people being able to hack and whatnot, and they're finding a hard time being able to do that for the Steam Deck. So for right now, I think they're just saying it's not going to be available, but again, time will tell. You never know.
Yep. We'll see.
All right. And for the last part is some largely anticipated games that are coming out within the next month. So there's a few that are really kind of like towards some list. Life is Strange Remastered Edition. So this does have a little bit of, I don't want to necessarily say a cult following, but there's not, you know, it's not necessarily one of the big AAA titles
Mainstream.
that, yeah, exactly. So I will throw an opinion part in the news piece. It's a great game. I mean, I would say take the time, go play it. Now hitting some of the bigger ones, we have Gran Turismo 7, which that has a legacy all in its own.
Hmm.
So that's been around for quite some time. Elden Ring, which is just I can't read enough of this. People are going nuts. They're really curious to see how this is going to go, especially for the fact it's being. They want to see how it's going to work with like the new hardware with the PS5. And I'm sure a couple of my buddies are really going to be telling me about
Yeah,
that
I
one.
see. I see Clark in the green room going, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So
uh,
some people are excited about this for sure, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then another one that's coming out towards the end of this month is going to be Horizon Forbidden West, which is
Mhm.
going to be the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn,
Mhm.
coming across the two PlayStation platforms. And I know for myself, I'm definitely personally excited for that. That the
Great
first,
game. The
yeah,
first one was great.
at hours and hours. That was one where I did not mind spending the extra time trying to, pretty much complete as much as I can, like period.
Right, right.
Yeah, so there are going to be like a few more that are coming out like for the Switch, which are not necessarily brand new, but at least going to be available on that. I know one that I saw was Assassin's Creed the Ezio stories or saga, which I don't know. Again, personally, one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games based off of number two, and along with Kingdom Hearts 3, which that
Yes.
just has that has a crazy fan base of its own. So just throwing that on another platform, you know, people are looking
Well,
forward to
and
it.
yep. And also real quick segue into it real nice was Nintendo Direct was today.
Yes.
And it was actually a pretty good one as far as I know. We
Hmm.
will have a we will have a we will have a segment later about that, a recap, in
Yep.
case y'all missed it. But you can also go to Nintendo, any Nintendo social media. I'm sure they're gonna have the 40-minute clip of it. I watched it, it was pretty good. There was definitely some names drop, but you'll be able to see that later in the hour.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all coming to you. Just be patient, grab a beer, and enjoy your time.
Yeah, and it's I feel like there's going to be a 2022 is going to be the backload drop of like all the COVID delays and all that stuff that we didn't get really, we haven't really gotten a lot of good game drops over the
Right.
past year for whatever reason. And I think 2022, people were saying 2021 was going to be it, but I really think 2022 is going to be it. So,
Right.
thanks, Steve, for the news, man. It's great. See you
Hey,
next, or
next
you go.
month. Oh no, yeah, I'll say no. Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me,
Yeah.
and looking forward to seeing everybody next month to see where else we're going to go with this.
Well, I thank you for being here because if not, we wouldn't have news. So see you next month.
All right.
Hey guys, my name is Matt Clark, and I'm going to be your host for the roundtable. Tonight, we're going to cover two topics. The first is going to be how does the Activision Blizzard acquisition affect the gaming scene, and will John Madden's legacy in football be overshadowed by his legacy in video games? Tonight, I am joined by Rajay Gaming.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on? As well as Vic.
Hey everybody, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
What's up, Vic?
What's up, guys?
And Art.
What up, gentlemen? Thanks for having
What's
me on this
happening?
panel, man.
All right. So, for anyone unfamiliar with the roundtable, basically, I'm going to pose the first question. Everyone gets 2 minutes to just kind of go on their rant, and then we'll all kind of have a collective discussion about it at the end, as a point counterpoint kind of thing. So, all right. Anyone want to go first? Volunteer to go first here? All right, Art. How does the Activision Blizzard acquisition affect the gaming scene?
Well, I mean, I think you saw a couple of comments when Steve was doing a great job with the news where a lot of people are freaking out, right? Like, you don't want this monopoly of games and corporations because all of a sudden there's going to be think about like when you have game companies, they're just, startups or, they're tried and true, but they're their own entity and the red tape that they have to go through. Now you get into this big company and corporation, more red tape, all of these things. And yeah, you're going to have more power. You're going to have more, marketing and programming and all that other good stuff. There's always going to be pros and cons to everything. But there are certain games that over the years that I've played that have gotten bought up by the big companies and you're just like something's missing or the edge is kind of taken off. So it's a little nerve wracking to see how this is all going to play out. And now you see like everybody's trying to buy more and more like stock. Like there's going to be like it's in the Demolition Man restaurants. There's only going to be a Taco Bell. So when we get into the future, there's only going to be like Microsoft and that's it. So hopefully that's not the case. But you definitely worry about things like that, right?
All right. Next up, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I keep thinking about this is that I think in a way it might be good for some of the gamers because they might just focus on, although Activision has a whole bunch of titles, they might just focus on one or two titles and probably drop the ones that don't sell that well. And then the ones that they focus on, maybe they'll put a lot of effort and make the game actually good. Because, a lot of times when these games come out, there is like a 20-minute update the first day you buy it. And then 2 days later, there's another update. And it just keeps going on. So hopefully this will be something that, they know now that they got all this pressure because they own these companies. And they have to put out decent product. Because if they just keep putting out the same old stuff that they did before, that like I said, it's not done when it's released, people are not going to buy it. Everyone's going to, talk with their wallets. They're not going to buy the games. And then I think that's what we need to do. I mean, if you're gonna own these companies, you better put out something that is worth our money. Because especially now, games are going to be $70, $80. I'm not going to pay that much for something that I gotta update every other hour to play. And then the one bad thing I would say is that the smaller titles that maybe the ones that we like the indie classics or like the cult classics, stuff like that, those are probably just going to get dropped. And then there's going to be like nowhere else to play them. So hopefully, they'll find a balance on doing that, putting out really good games like their title games, flagship games, but also putting out something like for the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the average gamer, something that you don't have to play with everybody all the time online. But we'll see what happens.
Okay. How about you, Rod?
I feel like I need to come in with my Peter Griffin. You know what grinds my gears? The whole Activision type thing. So, from my perspective, as you can see, my background, I do a lot of Warzone and Activision. Activision is having so many internal problems right now that if Microsoft's going to come in, one thing they need to do is probably get in there and clean house a little bit to figure out what the hell is going on over there. You have their biggest series right now is Call of Duty. And you have big time YouTube gamers that are basically out here slamming it, like don't play it anymore. It sucks. They're not fixing everything. You got flaws all over the place. You got the internal issues taking place. I feel like 69 billion, they took that and they ran. Like, okay, yeah, you can have it. We'll step out. Yeah, we're done, because they already knew they had stuff going on. So for me, I'm kind of curious how this is going to turn out, what Microsoft is going to do to actually come in there to build them up to get their reputation back, because right now it is wavering out there in the gaming community. So I'm kind of more interested from that aspect to see how they'll go, and then what other improvements they'll actually bring to some of the other games out there. So they've got some work to do. And, I've played Activision ever since going back to the Pitfall days. So, I mean, like Activision is like a first cousin in the house, you know what I mean? So I'll still mess around with it, but I just see other issues they still got to address out there.
Okay. For me, I think there was the initial like big jump to everyone being like, oh, like Microsoft is going to like take over and like Sony's going to be done and stuff like that. And I personally, unless they're going to come in and actually change fundamentally how Activision and Blizzard does business, I don't see them doing much with the acquisition. Blizzard's still going to make PC games, and Microsoft is, and this is probably more of a conspiracy theory, but Microsoft is slowly phasing out the idea of consoles. They're pushing everybody to get like Game Pass and things like that, and pushing PC so hard that their big play for consoles in general was to just slowly get all of those people that wanted a console back to PC. That's just like kind of my little tinfoil hat theory on that. But you know, I really, I don't know. All the games are still going to come out for both systems, and you know, having a PlayStation and a PC is still the way to go.
Nice.
All right. So now it's just kind of open discussion. Did anyone have any counterpoints to anything anyone said, anything like that?
I just want to say when Victor was talking about his side of things, I was just laughing at our boy Zach Rosenberg. It was just, I love his comments. He and I used to do a pop culture podcast together. Love you, Zach, and keep the caps lock on always, forever and ever. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't dissing Victor or anything along those lines. I was just like, sorry, dude. I was just like laughing at Zach's comments. That's all.
Old Doug down there in the comments too is saying I'm a blasphemer. So I know he loves his Xbox, but if you have a PC, you don't need one. It's true. Like if you have a PC, you really don't need an Xbox. Like, what's the point?
See, I got a gaming PC, but I'm more of a console player. I just don't want to deal with PC.
Oh, me too. But that's why I have a PlayStation, because if I really want to play something that's going to be a Microsoft exclusive, because there is no Xbox exclusives anymore, it's Microsoft exclusive, I'm gonna play it on PC. Look, I have a controller. Like I have I have one of the Xbox One controllers. It just hooks to my PC. All right, let's jump into will John Madden's legacy in football be overshadowed by his legacy in video games? Would anyone like to volunteer to go first on this one?
Oh, Art's going to do it again. All right, go ahead, Art. You want to go first again.
I'm just saying, like, every generation, thinks of someone or some, like, entity or that, how they grew up on it, right? A lot of people will, NFL players, just to, with the Madden thing, let's just take a look to the NFL. There are certain players that are playing in the league right now that are being interviewed by Troy Aikman and some other people who are broadcasters, but they used to play in the NFL, and like they'll sometimes be like, "Oh, wait, you played in the NFL?" And I wonder what Troy Aikman and other people are being like, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, like they, especially during Super Bowl week, it's like, "Oh, wait, you played, right, as a Cincinnati Bengal, Chris Collinsworth?" Like, yeah, I might not look like it now, but back in the day, he was an athlete and he did play. So he, a lot of people coming up see those guys like Troy Aikman as, oh, he's a commentator on Fox for, the NFL. For me, I think all of us here are born in that sweet spot where we know Madden for not only his broadcasting on Fox with Pat Summerall. I mean, you can just, when I was watching that documentary over Christmas, man, that was just all of the feels coming back just with Madden and, him just breaking things down and learning how he was transitioning from being a Super Bowl winning coach to like being on the couch and being like, what do I do now? And like, I don't want to do broadcasting. He finally got into broadcasting and all that good stuff. And then he started this game and the games, like for me, I see Madden on all three facets. But again, people younger than me are just going to think about him as the game. You see Lamar Jackson, one of the best QBs. He was like one of the best things. He looked like a kid at Christmas when he found out that he was going to be on the cover. He's like, I was playing as Michael Vick and doing all these other things and trying to be crazy with that. So I think it depends on where you are in life and where, what time you were born and what generation you're from. For me, I know Madden on all three facets of being, in the NFL as a coach, then of course being a commentator, and then, that gaming franchise, which Greg and Steve was saying, like, don't even come out with another games like franchise for the NFL because it's not going to work. Like, yeah, you had maybe NFL Blitz, you had like NFL, I think it was and NFL 2K or whatever, and maybe you had ESPN or something like that. But no one beats Madden, and I think people younger than us will be like, "Oh, this is a great video game." But then if they do their due diligence and check things out, they'll still, Madden's memory and legacy will still be there. And all facets, not just for video games, in my opinion.
All right.
I'll go. I agree with what Art was talking about. Think of like for nowadays, like every now and then a song will come on the television, and then like your kid will associate that song with that cartoon. But then later on, you're listening to one of your records, and that same song comes on. Excuse me, and they're like, "Oh, that's that song from Minions, or that's that song from so and so movie." But you're like, "No, this person made it first." And I think that's how it's going to be with Madden. It's like 10, 20 years from now, people are only going to see him as the video game coach or the guy on the cover of the video game or the guy whose name is on it. But you definitely got to give him a lot of respect for everything that he's done for the game. I don't think I would be into football as much as I am now if it wasn't for playing those Madden games, because seeing the playbooks, it helped me understand what was actually going on the field in an actual football game. And then when I would play with my friends, I could be like, hey, do a post or do a L, and I see Zach talking about me again. But but it was like, it helped me understand the game, and that's what I loved about it. So I think he's gonna keep going on. People are gonna, as long as we keep saying his name and keep making the titles of him, the game's gonna keep going on. People are gonna still remember him. That curse is still gonna go on, hopefully, because this year it took out Brady, so Brady's not in it, and Mahomes. Both of them were on the cover, and they didn't make the Super Bowls. So the curse is real, and I hope it keeps going on. But yeah, I think Madden's going to keep going no matter what.
Well, to jump in for my part, and I might need 2 minutes plus on this one here. So Madden was huge. So in the arts point, because I think I'm the OG of the crew, really. So I grew up watching as a kid in the 70s when he was coaching the Oakland Raiders. And Madden as a coach was such a domineering person at such a young age. Remember, when he coached the Raiders, he was only like 36, which was unheard of back then. I mean, people think now with Gruden or some of the other younger coaches that it might have been around, but you didn't have that back then. And he just took that team, and it was the Raiders against the Steelers through the 70s. And they had some of the best games. He had some of the craziest players. Growing up as a kid, I was a big fan of Lester Hayes, who was one of his corners, Michael Haynes, all these different guys, all these characters he had on his team, Ken Stabler. And he was able to get the best out of these guys that you would think would have been a crew from the longest yard. I mean, you just didn't put these guys all together as a football team. He got the best out of them, the Hall of Famers he brought up. So you remember him instilling all of that into his team as a coach. And then when he went into the 80s as a commentator, and there was a mention there about Joe Montana football. That was Pat Summerall, but he came along and knocked Pat to the side, who was his buddy in the booth. And it changed the way the game was played. Because I played Tecmo, we played Joe Montana, we played every type of football game you could think of. And when that came out, and the first time you saw the ambulance come out when someone got hurt, you were like, what is that? What is that? And you were trying to put people out all trying to get the ambulance to come back out again. And it was just like the playbooks that he introduced, the 11 and 11, he wanted to be an actual game for you to actually, like Victor said, to actually learn from, that you could build from, and you got football knowledge out of it. So it was great along those lines. And depending, like I said, the generation you grew up, that's who you're going to be kind of tied to, because there's kids that grew up, born in the 90s or whatever, they know him from that game type thing, and they see him commentate, Thanksgiving with the turducken and all that kind of stuff. So they know he's on TV, but they don't really know him as the coach side of it. So it was just it was something incredible that every announcer that comes along now is going to be compared to him. Like there should be like some type of John Madden trophy in football, because when it comes to commentators, he was the one that is right there leading Mount Rushmore of commentators. And his presence was kind of that friendly type thing. You know what I mean? It was like people talk about him, like when they talked to him, it was like they were talking with him. It wasn't like some type of interview, hey, how's your fam? How's it going there? How's the kids? It was like you were just talking to a buddy. That's how everybody talks about him. And so playing that game, though, did change how I can't think about it. And it was nice. I was out playing that game. Yeah. We were in college. In college, I went to WVU, and the football team had an area called the Bone Dome, and it was all Madden games. You had to sign on a sheet to get in to play these matches, and it got serious. People were putting money down on these games and stuff. So, it was like a pool hall of video games when people would play Madden back in the day, and it was just a culture type thing of how you did that. And not just to have that game, I would think Madden is probably one of the first trash talking games, because you would play and you would talk trash while you were playing. That became a thing with it too. And when you watch the shows now, even with the Madden tournaments on ESPN or whatever they're doing, the Madden championships, you still got the trash talking that takes place there. So it just changed the whole thing and just made the whole gaming thing to another level. So I've always got big love for Madden. The only thing I would say with Art's point, 2K was close to actually getting up there with Madden. It was the first one that kind of gave you that point of view type look. However, EA got that licensing from the NFL, and that killed them. Because remember, 2K brought out Randy Moss and all these other players on there. And it was just like the throwing on it was a little bit more accurate. You were doing some different things. People were starting to fall in love with it. But that licensing killed everybody once EA landed that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. Well said, guys. Just quickly, too, with the with the ambulance, I love the fact that the ambulance would roll over players. It's
Yep.
like, what is that?
I totally had a player injured by the ambulance as it was rolling in to get to somebody.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever played The Adventures of Bayou Billy. When Bayou Billy would get hurt, like, ugh. The same thing would happen if someone got ran over by the ambulance. Ugh.
Yep, that was like the almost the exact same sound. So for my piece here, it's funny, like, Art, that you brought up like Aikman specifically, because like it's kind of surprising that all the younger players in the NFL don't know who he is, since he's the only relevant Cowboys quarterback ever. So like it's
Throw Staubach away.
Shots fired is right.
But yeah,
Hold up though. We all gotta like just rep our teams right here. I'm Niners. What are you, Matt? I'm just curious. What are you, man?
I'm a Bears fan. I love the Chicago Bears. I don't know what a good quarterback looks like, so
That's just Jim McMahon.
I was gonna say we had McMahon.
yeah.
Victor, you're an Eagles fan, right?
Yeah, even though I'm from Chicago, I'm an Eagles fan.
And that's funny. I'm in Philly area, Chicago fan. That's
Rob, what about you, man?
odd.
I used to follow the Panthers, but I got out of football a few years back. But if any consolation, I just came from Cincinnati to move to Baltimore. So I'm rooting for the Bengals to pull it off.
All right. So what I was going to say about Madden is like just it'll be an interesting evolution, and I wonder if like the game company will try to continue to push that. Like they have like Madden Ultimate Team, for example, and they're always putting every year Madden is the coach of the all player team. Like that's the coach that they push out every single time. So it'll be interesting, and I really hope his legacy continues on as just being in general like the football guy. Like he is I think the quintessential football mascot for our entire generation.
Few generations, yeah.
Well said, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
several generations, really.
Yeah.
It'll just be represented differently,
Yeah, I don't think you can take him out of the game anymore. You can take Lombardi off the name of the trophy. I think it's just that's just it. You got to keep him on it. It's just part of it stuff. I mean, yeah. And I just love. I do get a kick out when NFL players
off the trophy and put Hallis's on it, but it's, that could be a whole nother roundtable. We could.
I do get a kick out of when NFL players and new Maddens come out and they're all like trying to find out what their score rating is. That's actually pretty funny. Like, you don't know what the rating. They get upset. Like, what do you mean I'm an 88? I'm definitely a 90 plus.
So good. So true. I love that. I love the fact that those Eagles are like, wait, what?
No.
So, well, all right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the roundtable. We'll have more topics for you for the next stream, and we're rolling on to the next segment.
Hey everybody, this is Doug. I'm here to talk about my favorite video game series ever, Halo, and its most recent iteration, Halo Infinite. So let's get into it. So Halo Infinite is the most recent release from 343 Industries, the sixth mainline game in the series. That means that it's centering around Master Chief, as opposed to Halo Wars, ODST, and Reach were not centered around Master Chief, so those are outside of that universe. Also happens to be the third game in the Reclaimer series, the Reclaimer saga, as well as the third one by 343, which I believe kind of fits in with that. So basically, the game starts, and I'm going to speak to the campaign here at first. The game starts where you're set on Zeta Halo, which is a Halo ring that has been destroyed, and Master Chief has been tossed into space. And the pilot of the Infinity, which was the ship that was near Zeta Halo, got destroyed, but the pilot survived because he fled. But he managed to rescue Master Chief. But Master Chief needs to investigate the Halo. That's where we get into the good stuff. So when they get down on the Halo, Master Chief realizes there is a new enemy. These folks are called the Banished. These guys are big, bad, ogre-looking guys. And they are led by Escharon. And he was the leader after Atriox, who overthrew everything and blew up the Halo, was killed. So basically the campaign goes through, follows this whole saga as Master Chief is trying to figure out what happened and if there's a way to repair the Halo, because that way he can figure out what happened and how to stop it the next time it happens. It goes through. We have a new character that is called the Weapon, which is a carbon copy, well, not a carbon copy, but a clone of Cortana, since Cortana went mad, to help Master Chief along. And this works great. If you've ever played Halo and you know the series, Cortana is integral to how it plays. And this new version is definitely different. You can see the personality difference, but it's very helpful throughout the match, throughout the game. So I think they integrated that in extremely well. The graphics, the mechanics, the gameplay are all excellent. And we were a little worried about that because when we first saw the initial trailer way back in, I believe, 2020, the graphics were leaving a lot to be desired because this was supposed to be on the brand new Xbox One system. So you would think that the graphics would look up a little better than the old one, and it looked fairly similar. Not to mention the main bad guy looked a lot like Thanos. Thankfully, they went back and retooled that, and that actually got rebuilt. The Banished are excellent enemies, and they feel really hard to defeat. They're bigger than anything in the Halo universe, the enemies, with the exception of hunters, and they have varieties of them. Some of them are fast-moving and attack real fast. Others have massive weapons. They're just really well put together and really well done as enemies for this game. Now, adding to the nostalgia to make it feel exactly like the old Halo is some of the Covenant enemies that we know and love. The Grunts and the Brutes and the Jackals are all still part of this, and somehow they're entrenched in with the Banished. So they make it feel a little bit like the old one. You get all the stupid, silly grunt quotes when you die. Those are always hilarious. Another thing that they brought back in the campaign, which I'm a huge fan of, is they brought back the skulls, which are really hard to find. There's always just this really nifty element of feeling like you discovered something really, truly hard to achieve. So I'm glad they brought those back. And you can always turn those on when you're doing campaign mode to make the game more difficult, or just silly, like Grunt Birthday Party, when you headshot them and they blow up and have confetti all over the place. So, like I said, the campaign is definitely really excellent. It works almost as well as Halo 5, which I thought was a really great campaign as well. Now, when we go over towards the multiplayer, this is where I was actually really concerned because they introduced the grappling hook. And the grappling hook is part of the campaign where you have it most of the time. However, in the multiplayer, they make it as a weapons drop. So like, not a weapons drop, but more like where a weapon spawn would be. So you only have one, which means you either have to grab it or you have to kill somebody who has it to achieve it. I'm really happy they took this approach because I was really envisioning just a plethora of Spider-Man like folks using the grappling hook all the time and just flying around the map. Doesn't work like that. And they took great care to make sure it's really balanced. They have all the classic game styles, your Slayer, your big team battle, your free-for-all, SWAT. Fiesta, your team objective game, capture a flag. They had several new variants of things. So they've really taken the time to keep true and add stuff that makes the universe expand slightly without feeling like they're going too far out on a ledge there. They also have events. So when you're playing multiplayer, they have certain events that will allow you to unlock various prosthetics and armor and things to change your appearance on your avatar in the game. Thankfully, these are just cosmetic upgrades. I'm really glad they didn't add the whole laborious weapons upgrade system that so many games have, which I think is just tedious and a pain in the ass. Now, they did also, there is a rumor about that they may come out with a battle royale mode, similar to Fortnite and Call of Duty. I don't have an ETA on that, and that's just kind of rumors in the wind right now, but that could be an interesting way to approach it, like a giant free-for-all. So, as I mentioned before with the campaign, the multiplayer, also the graphics and the mechanics all work incredibly well. The maps are all very well balanced, really good with the spawn points, which for some games is a problem. You don't spawn on top of your enemies immediately. They just do a very good job. They've always done a good job of that sort of thing, and I'm glad they stayed true to that. So it runs very smooth. It's all well designed. It's well done. And 343s did a great job with this. So I highly recommend it. For me, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. That's my review, folks. Have a good one.
What's going on? Eddie again here from the Art of Fatherhood, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about then versus now in video games. And for me, started off with like an Odyssey back in the day. Before the Atari 2600. Odyssey, for people who don't know, was like this big ass yellow plastic tube that had pong, hockey, and tennis, right? So my friends and I were talking recently about video games and like stuff we had to do from back in the day to now. And then like obviously there's no Toys R Us here in the States anymore. I think there's one in Canada, but do you remember the paper slips that you had to get if you liked the game? You like take a look at the plastic little holder placeholder. You look up like, yeah, this game looks pretty good. And you take it. It was like $29.99, $39.99. Those things were hilarious because you just had to take it. Now it's like everything is locked and keyed, and you have to like get someone from Walmart or Target and be like, can I buy this now? So that was just one thing I thought, like how funny it is now, like the difference between then and now. Another thing is back in the day, OG gamers know this. There's no such thing as checkpoints or saving the game. You had to pause that on the Nintendo 8-bit system just because it's like, oh, it's dinner time. All right, I got to pause this and leave the TV on and then have dinner and race right back and see, where you are in Mario, wherever the case may be. There were some games that, yeah, you could probably have, saving and checkpoints here and there, but that thing was that like back in the day, there was no saving or checkpoints or like that. And a real OG would like start like Saturday morning and Saturday night, maybe into Sunday morning, trying to beat the game. Walmart, whether if you're in Walmart or whatever type of store you were back in the day with your parents, they were food shopping and you were like hanging out with them, you'd always go to the magazine section and like check out like the Electronic Game Monthly or whatever, the Nintendo Power, for the different tricks and cheat codes and all that other stuff before the internet. You'd go to like, for me, I would go to like the place where you would like drop off your photos because they had pens there, and I just start writing the codes, right? Who else tell me someone else has probably done that back in the day, not just me. And so that always, like, I call it like Walmart type of store surveillance, where your parents are doing something and you're just hanging out, like writing codes and like not paying like $5 of your hard-earned allowance for that because you're like, I'm going to write it down. There was no E3 back in the day. If you wanted to preview a video game, you went to the arcade and you just checked out like, oh, this is what Mortal Kombat 2 looks like. And then it was a bad transition from the arcade to your home. You're like, yeah, this is what 16 bits look like. All right, cool. And then if like, I know that people are into, PC gaming and all that other stuff. PC gaming back then was crazy because you had like $300 for a sound card or whatever the case may be to play Mortal Kombat 2 to make it kind of look like the arcade game you were playing. Nah, forget that. I'll just play it on the Sega Genesis. And don't play it Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo because, man, you get sweat and not blood when you're beating somebody up. Multiplayer, forget about it. You could never play multiplayer back in the day. And if you wanted to like hang out with your friends. If the arcade was closed, you go to Blockbuster, see what games are, and you rent a few and you just have fun with your friends that weekend. Now, YouTube, you don't have to like do that Walmart surveillance crap anymore. You can just go through walkthroughs or go to Reddit, get the helpful advice. And now you also have digital and pre-orders. Like you can just get the game right away. You know, just buy it online, download it, boom, you're ready to rock and roll. Or you just pre-order it, and then all of a sudden you maybe forget about that game that was coming out, and all of a sudden Amazon shows up and it's like, here's your game. It's like, sweet, I can play. Totally not happened back in the day. You had to like either march to the store and get the game that day when it released. And then also too, nowadays I think the con is like there's a wait list for the game. Sometimes the games, of course the pandemic screwed things up, but even before it's like production issues, whatever the case may be, and you're waiting. So that kind of sucks. And then for me, I sound like an old person, but when I got my PS5, man, like I seriously had to YouTube, how the hell do you turn this thing off? You had to actually log off your controller and then log back in. But before you logged in, then you could turn the power off. So it was just funny, like the different ways of gaming from then to now. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little back in the day to now video gaming. We're going to be talking next about the Nintendo Direct recap. And again, thanks for checking out the stream. Hope you guys enjoy it and love the comments, especially from you, Zach.
Hey y'all, we're here to get some immediate feedback on Nintendo Direct that just happened today, 2/19/2022. I'm here with Panda and Slothy, and we just watched the whole thing, and we're about to tell y'all what we thought. Panda, what were your first reactions? What do you got?
My first reactions while sawing the Kirby thing, that was crazy. Just to see like how they can add like stuff from Mario.
What's the game called? I'm sorry, what's the game called?
Mario, or no, it's Kirby New World, I believe.
Okay.
Forgotten Land.
Forgotten Land.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, the Forgotten Land. Just to see how they're gonna add like stuff from Mario Odyssey, like how could Kirby turn into a car, some other things, a vending machine, which Kirby turned into a car. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Especially you can upgrade abilities, just more like just seeing more stuff like you upgrade abilities, and that's really cool. Just seeing more hub world, you can like progress the hub world really well. I don't know, that was really
Any
cool.
other games?
We got Mario Kart. Mario Kart, oh my goodness. That was like at the end of it. When I saw that was really cool because I like to play a lot of Mario Kart 8. I played a lot and then I kind of dipped off because it's kind of just.
What was the announcement? What did they say?
They added like I think 48 new maps, or not new maps, old from the old games. So like the original, like the 3DS, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart Wii.
They added those map. They're gonna add those maps to Mario Kart.
Yes, exactly. Mario Kart 64. They're gonna add. I think some of them. I don't know if they're gonna add all of them. But yeah, like 48 for I believe it was $25. I believe.
Oh, so you have to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they're gonna bring it out. They said they're gonna bring some, and then they're like you're not gonna get all of them immediately. You're gonna get some throughout like a time span. I think until 2023, I believe.
All right. Anything else pop off at you quick?
No. They're not immediately.
Okay.
Just those two games. Oh wait, no. Sorry, I remembered something. Switch. Pretty much. Wii Sports, but for Switch. That is really exciting. I know. I really liked Mario Kart Wii. I think a lot of people like not Mario Kart. Sorry, Wii Sports. Wii Sports. Mm-hmm. That was really cool. Just to see that it get like a not really a port, but it got like new game modes like this, like the soccer one that you can use for motion controls or something. You get like a strap or something. That's really cool.
Like old school Wii.
Yeah. Like it seems like the ups, like it seems like Wii Sports like Plus almost, but like for the Switch, and like it seemed like better motion controls, for the Switch and stuff. But
gotcha.
I think that's it.
Okay, Slothy, what was your takes from it, and what do you got?
To expand more on the Kirby thing, I consider myself a pretty big Kirby fan. I play Planet Robobot, Triple Deluxe. Granted, those are the only two games. I consider myself a pretty big fan. And I think the new game was really cool. I really like them expanding more on the copy abilities, because copy abilities already felt like, okay, you just bought like 3 more. That's cool for like 5 minutes. But them expanding to like all of them is very smart, because there's only so many copy abilities you can have, because they're based on like elements, animal stuff like that. Like, like there's like a doctor one where you can fill pills and stuff. There's only so much you can expand on the term copy abilities. So them upgrading it I think was very smart. Also, going back onto the Mario Kart, I would pay $25 just for Coconut Mall, but getting an extra 47, it's that's a great deal. That's like almost 50 cents per game, per map.
Yeah.
And they're doing stuff from the Mario Kart Tour, the mobile game, from the Wii game, stuff like that. And I really like going back. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but going back to the Kirby game, dude, I really like how they have like new hub worlds. I like how Kirby has like this mode where you can become a vending machine. I think that's really funny, and the fact that let me just, and yeah, I think that's cool.
Okay, going back to Mario Kart real quick. It's $25 for 48 new or 48 old school courses. But also you can get that free if you're a member of, what is it?
Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. I think that's $80 a year.
Okay.
You can get a family pack. I don't know the exact price. I think it's $90 a year.
Gotcha.
So if you're 2 people, you should get the family pack. That is just instant. You save money. But
Gotcha.
But I believe if you do not keep buying out the Nintendo Switch Plus expansion pack, you will likely lose the DLC.
What other games jumped off at you, Slothy?
Advance Wars. I don't know. I never really played Advance Wars game. It seems like kind of like Fire Emblem in a way, and I kind of like Fire Emblem, and I think Advance Wars looks like a good game. I'm gonna pick it up. It's cool. And also Mario Strikers, dude. I always wanted to play Mario Strikers. I've always heard great things about the games. I think the game looks great. I feel like Mario sports type games should, should fall in like every other summer or something. And it's like one of the things that helped the release date. And I'm really excited for that game.
Anything else?
And dude, Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings being on the Nintendo Switch Online, not to be confused with Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. It's separate. It's $20 a year, $30 for the family, and they still ain't getting a Mother 3 localization, but that's another story for another day. But I think Earthbound's really cool, and I might actually get me to do the online to pay for it. It's really cool.
Excellent. Anything else?
No. Oh wait, no, I got one more thing.
Okay.
So why on Nintendo's? Okay, so it's called Nintendo Switch Sports. Why don't they call it just Nintendo Sports so then they can port it to different consoles? I don't get it. Explain to me, Nintendo. Because they're gonna do the next console. They're gonna have whatever the next console called Sports. Why don't you just call it Nintendo Sports? Also, why are there no Mii's? Why don't you just enhance the Mii system so that they like better have full characters and stuff like that? I don't get it. Why have new characters to develop for instead of enhance what you already have? And then because you can make it and it'll be cool.
What's up, Panda?
Can I respond to that question?
Yeah, what's up?
I think they just updated like the ways, because you see new hairstyles, but you also see like when they played the game, they had like the old Mii's. So I think it was just like I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's in-game avatars, and then maybe there's like Mii's that you can put into the game, or maybe they just updated like the Mii's like with new hairs and it just looking better. I think that's what you saw. I think that's what you saw.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see when the game actually comes out if it's a whole different system. So why don't you just put that to the Switch? It's just useful because then you could. I don't know. It's not like the Mii's are in most things. They're not. They're like in like maybe like a side game. I don't know.
All right, so y'all came off generally excited about what y'all saw, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Like I think this is Nintendo's year, man. I've been saying that for the past 2 years, but this is the year. Breath of the Wild 2.
All the pandemic backed up.
New Fire Emblem Warriors. That game looks fun. Mario Strikers. New Kirby game. Granted, we haven't gotten out for Super Mario Odyssey 2, but I'm not expecting it. You guys are already developing Breath of the Wild, so it's whatever. But
Yeah, but they said nothing about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but they did. But you gotta reading comprehension. They said the first half. Well, lucky we got stuff from later half of the year. Nintendo
Yeah, I
games.
wasn't good at reading comprehension in school. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Safi, for that.
Yeah.
We're gonna let y'all go here. Y'all be seeing more Slothy and Panda on Lag, Libations, and Lost Saves here going forward. But I wanted to thank y'all for giving me y'all initial comments, and we'll see y'all soon.
Mm-hmm.
What is up, everybody? Rajay from Rajay Gaming, just stopping in to pop on here for a quick promo for Lag Libations and Lost Saves, a new channel just introduced on YouTube where I'll be teaming up with other gaming enthusiasts to discuss the world of gaming and some of the different things coming out from the news all around the industry, some good discussions, some good debates about some of the games that are out there. And of course, we will discuss over a few libations. And so for me, I was asked to be a part of the cast here, which is great. I'm looking forward to it. My gaming experience goes back to the beginning, basically. You can call me the OG if you like. Started out back in the day with the 2600 when it came out. Kind of built up through the years through all the various different systems to where now I actually game on the PS5 mainly, also the PS4. Do break out the PS3 once in a while. I'm more of a PlayStation player. I do a lot of the first-person shooters, big more into the Warzone, Call of Duty type series. So it should be a fun time. If you want to check me out on Rajay Gaming, as seen here on YouTube, and the new show, the new channel, Lag Libations and Lost Saves. Subscribe there on YouTube so you can see the whole panel and then join in on discussions and the live streams that we'll have there. That'll be fun.
That's some baby making music right there.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I was just about to say that too. Like,
What's up, fellas? What's your first? What is your? What do y'all have to say after that?
I'm excited to do more of these.
It's freaking awesome.
It's about damn time.
Yeah.
I can't wait. No, this is I think this was a really good kickoff. Had a little bit of everything, and just to see where this is going to go. I mean, shit, who can't be excited by this point?
Yeah, I think Slothy's going to have a grind my gears segment pretty soon. The way he was a little bothered there about this. He was a little bothered about the Nintendo Switch. The whole sports thing was bothering him.
Yeah, he's got a couple opinions, don't he?
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Keep asking questions. Put them in the right direction. That was really cool. Nice to see that we can have more of the lag and lost saves with the next generation of people who were in our shoes, like 15, 20, 30 years ago. I'm not trying to date anybody.
Don't keep pushing. Leave it alone, Steve. Leave it alone.
All right. I'm just gonna. It's been fun.
ARP is going to be sponsoring our segments now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Don't tell anyone. I think we're the younger ones on the
podcast. Man, I just signed up for Colonial Life Insurance. I don't know what I'm doing.
Next up, shout out to our sponsor, Life Alert.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried. That's what this actually is. This is
my controller's fallen and I can't pick it up. My arthritis.
They only gave us 4 of the collars, but I think that kind of works out a little bit. So.
I'm not touching that one.
Matt is throwing so much shade on football teams and just old people. This is great.
Yeah.
Love to shake things up, man.
A controller never falls. It was thrown. So if the controller was on the ground, it was thrown to be there for a reason.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I see what you did.
All right, fellas. I wanted to thank y'all for your contributions. And the next Lag, Libations, and Lost Saves is Wednesday, March 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern.
That's my birthday.
Cheers.